By the end of this video, you should know the 3 most important basics for your left hand. If you do not get these ones right, you're going to be struggling with your left hand for a very long time on the violin. Make sure to watch all the way to the end because you might be doing some of this wrong. Like I mentioned, if you're doing any of this wrong, it's going to be very difficult for your left hand to progress. It's going to be difficult to do vibrato and advanced stuff like that as well. So let's get into it. Welcome back to Toks Violin Academy for beginners and intermediate violinists. My name is Samuel and I give you lessons, tips and the tools you need to take your violin playing to that next level without doing too much of trial and error, which is what leads to most of the frustration on violin. So let's get into the topic for today. This first one is a very common mistake with beginner violinists, right? So they tend to rest the instrument in the groove of the hand like that. No, that's going to be a very big problem if the instrument is resting there, right? So what are we going to do then? Okay, let's use this marker to demonstrate. So let's say this marker is the neck of your instrument. So you should rest in that space, keeping a little bit of space right there. If you want a guide, you see that last the third mark in your index finger, that space right there should be lightly touching the neck of the instrument and that part of your thumb. So it feels like this. That's the neck of the instrument with that space there. Having said that, let's demonstrate it on the violin. Like I said, this one right here and that one right there. So let's do it. I'm gonna rest both like that. Right there, keeping that little space. This is going to give your hand enough space to be able to bend perpendicularly and press the string with the tip. Also, when you're doing vibrato, this is going to make it easier because you'd easily be able to make that vibrato space. Right, but if you have that here like this, it's going to be very difficult because your whole hand is going to be over the instrument. Also, if you have that here, it's going to be very difficult because your hand is not enough or above the levels of the strings to press down and give you that good beautiful tone, and when you're doing vibrato as well. So that's the first one. Do not rest the instrument here. That's going to kill your progress. You're going to sound very scratchy moving forward. Keep that little space right there. Good, and that's it for that one. The next one is, once you've done that, make sure that this is a common rule. Make sure that the hand, the forearm are always in the same line. This is what I mean. You do not want this to happen. No, not at all. You do not want this to happen, right? So this should always be in the same straight line. You could practice this in the front of a mirror first, and then you develop this as you move forward. This is what that's going to help you with. For example, if you have the hand like this, it's going to be difficult to start doing shift. Shift meaning moving from one position with the whole hand to the next position. If you have that like this, you cannot go nowhere from there, right? So if you have that like that, even if you're able to play some simple songs starting off, good, as you progress, you're not going to be able to develop moving forward because your hand did not get that good foundation to move forward. All right, let's go to the second point for today. For this second point, I like to call this an anchor point. So haven't put your hand in that good position with that little space right there. We need that part of the index finger to be lightly touching the neck of the instrument to give your hand an anchor where the fingers are going to be pressing, right? We do not mean you should grab that tightly like that. That's going to be not good for you, right? But lightly touching so your fingers have a sense of definite position starting off. If that doesn't happen and your fingers are far away like this, it's going to be very difficult to play in tune and the fingers to press one particular position every time, which is what we want to happen for good intonation. So starting off, we need that anchor point. However, as we move forward and we start learning vibrato, we're going to learn that that anchor point could be moved just a little bit to give it a little space right there when we want to start doing vibrato. But first, before vibrato, you need a good intonation. So that's why that anchor point must be there. It's very important that you get this one right. So let's go again. That anchor point, that part should be lightly touching to anchor your hand to a starting point. So that's it for that. Let's move on to the third one for today. Good. I like to call this last one finger proximity. So the first one was, okay, we need a little space right there, and then we need this to lightly touch, so when you press the fingers, when those are lightly touching, the fingers have a definite position. Then the last one we're going to discuss today is called finger proximity, right? So this talks about how close your fingers are to the string, how far they are above the string. So for example, you see how close my fingers are even when I'm not using them, right? It's different from this. You see the fingers? And then That's going to be very, very difficult. So this is how you could change that. Starting off as beginners, we do that, right? But this is how you could develop that moving forward. Bring the fingers just above where they're about to press. Do not lightly touch the string. If not, you're going to hear the squeaky sound. We don't want that, right? Just above enough. So when the finger is ready to press, you could just press right there without having to bring it all the way from here to press the string. Because when you do that, you increase the distance between the finger and the string, and when that distance increases, your chances of pressing the wrong note increases as well, which we call intonation, right? So keep the fingers close to the string, and your palm should be facing you. That's how that should be. So all your fingers are in good position as well. So that's it for that. Your fingers should be close to the string, not lightly touching it. If not, you're going to be making that squeaky sound, right? So 3 things we did today. The first one is, if you've been holding that instrument in the groove of your hand like that, it's time to change. If not, you're not going to progress smoothly. I just have to put that one out there like that for you, right? So right there with that space. And then the next one is, we need this to be lightly touching that same second knuckle we mentioned. That space right there, that's the one that's going to be lightly touching, not grabbing or squeezing that you're going to have tension in the hand. In fact, one of the very important points is, when you're holding it, you want to eliminate tension as much as possible, so you're not squeezing the life out of the neck of the violin and the notes you're going to play as well. Good. And the last one we talked about was finger proximity. So keep the fingers close to the string for a good, smooth intonation. If this is your first time at Toks Violin Academy, I strongly suggest you hit that like button. If you enjoy this content, hit that subscribe button so you're part of the family, and turn on that notification so you do not miss any time we post, because contents like this are coming for you every week. So like, subscribe, and then turn on that notification. I will see you in another one weekly. Do not miss it.